Did you know that between 40 and 80% of purchases are actually impulse buys? I didn't know that either. So I was reading an article and I thought we needed to talk about this article. It discusses why people overspend and the psychology behind it. Impulse buys, if they are 40 to 80% of our actual purchases, if we could figure out why we do that, then maybe we could change that habit. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer. On Money Article Monday, I find an article or a blog that I think is interesting and we chat about it. We give our opinions. So let's dive in and see what this one is all about. This one I found on theconversation.com, and as always, I will have the article linked down below for you to read in its entirety. And it was published, I think, on December 18th, 2018. Everybody see Howie in the background? Howie is with us. Between 40 and 80% of purchases are impulse buys, this article states. Marketers are often given blame for this. But while marketing tactics may be cynical, manipulative, and even deceptive, shoppers are generally wise to their ways. I mean, think about it, we're not dumb. We just, for some reason, still buy things even though we know that it is marketing. You know I love statistics in articles, so that's probably another reason I picked this one. Of greater concern is the fact that up to 95% of our daily decisions are potentially determined by impulsive and unconscious processes. That's scary. All too often, consumers are ignorant of the social influences and psychological states that make them vulnerable shoppers. Are we vulnerable shoppers? Does anybody feel vulnerable today? In fact, most people entertain a costly illusion of invulnerability and consider themselves especially shrewd shoppers. Now, this article says that we can avoid spending too much by becoming more mindful of the factors that influence our shopping behaviors. Apparently, there are 6 factors. Let's see if we identify with any of these. The first one is social pressure. This definitely should be number 1. Human beings are very susceptible to social pressures. The cooperative and competitive behaviors which have ensured our survival as a species also nudge us to spend more than we need. That is one of the benefits I feel after getting away from social media, getting rid of my Facebook page and Instagram, is I don't feel that pressure. Oh gosh, and I don't even know if you could not feel it. Or if you can be on those things and as a human being actually not feel that pressure. I'm not sure. I couldn't avoid it. For example, the social norm of reciprocity obligates us to exchange gifts and good deeds at Christmas. With gift giving, okay, we do not give gifts to more than, I think, 5 people. Yes, outside of our family. But we also don't have a big family. I honestly believe that, especially as adults, obviously it's great to give gifts and get gifts, and your immediate family is fine. But when people start having to feel like they need to get gifts for neighbors, cousins, second cousins, I just kind of feel like it's too much. And the thing is, you may be in a great financial position and you may be able to get a gift for somebody, and you may not have ever intended that they have to reciprocate that gift, but they feel the pressure that they need to. So maybe it's having an honest conversation with them and saying, hey, Merry Christmas, I love you, happy birthday, here's a fun card for you, let's all go out to dinner, that way we can, enjoy each other and have a special maybe moment. But do we really have to give a gift, and do we really have to go overboard? I'm going to go off on a tangent for every single birthday. I mean, I've talked about this before. Kids, the birthday parties are getting outrageous. It doesn't make any sense to me. All kids care about is candy, cake, and spending time with their friends. The most memorable things to me growing up were stuff I just did with my immediate family. We never had all these extravagant birthday parties. The pressure that's put on moms and dads to do these is just astronomical. Competition also fuels consumption. Sales reinforce a sense of scarcity and use time constraints to provoke a fear of missing out among shoppers. Flash sales create a herd mentality which can provoke panic buying, hysteria, or worse. Being aware of these pressures will minimize their effects and allow you to maintain a sense of perspective. So there's such a thing that we need to buy things because they're on sale. The crazy thing is people don't realize that often a sale will lead to, like, the second sale will be an even better sale. There's such a pressure here. Now, the one thing that I do talk about with a mindset of sense of scarcity is, I've talked about before, I have this where, let's say I buy a pair of wonderful black pants and it's hard to find a great pair of black pants. I always want a second pair, or I found a great pair of flip-flops. Well, I need the other neutral color, of course. There's this scarcity mindset that I still struggle with myself. But yes, as far as consumption, competition fuels consumption. You know, who has the better sale? You need to get it because it's going to be gone if you don't get it on sale. Oh, I have definitely fallen victim to that. Number 2 is more abstract money. What this is talking about is how we've gone from paying with, getting physical cash and physical coins, and we are now paying with, we went to credit cards, and now we can, take our phone and put it on and pay. And basically it's taking away, as this article says, it's the taking away the pain of paying. There is a difference between paying with cash and just going boop, because you see the money leaving right here. You don't see the money leaving here. The article says this leads people to splurge without keeping track of the true financial costs of their decisions. And that is why I talk about in my budgeting that I carry an envelope. So every expense that I have that's grocery or other, which are my 2 budgets that I spend on that aren't just set budgets or set expenses, I write down what I spend so that you just gather your receipts and you put them all in there. They're together. It's almost as, even if you don't pay with cash, it's a way to feel it, to actually feel it, because we are creatures of feelings, right? And if we can disconnect from the cash, then it doesn't seem as real. Until Monday morning, you go and you check your bank statement and you see what a nut job you were over the weekend. Number 3, decision fatigue. I talk about this one all the time. Research suggests that people have a limited reserve of willpower. As we make decisions throughout the day, this reserve becomes exhausted, resulting in resource depletion. I mentioned on a previous video about pick out your clothes the night before. That's what I talked about. Pick out your clothes the night before, because you don't want to start off your day with the huge amount of willpower you have and the huge amount of decision-making power that you have during the day. You don't want to start off your day using that on choosing something to wear. Choose it the night before. It's not that big of a task, but if you try to accomplish it first thing in the morning, it's going to take up too much willpower and good decision-making power that you have. This says here, resource depletion causes people to act impulsively. Doing shopping early in the day and avoiding other sources of stress, such as big crowds, will minimize the risk of resource depletion. I don't like going out with big crowds anyway, especially to the grocery store. I always recommend that you go out during slower times when you don't feel uncomfortable standing in front of the spaghetti sauce aisle and trying to determine which deal is better. We've all experienced situations where we've been in the grocery store and we're trying to get in and out, and you've got the lady that's standing in front of the spaghetti sauce or whatever it is, and you're thinking, hey lady, I know what I'm trying to get. You're taking forever. I don't want to be that person, and I don't want to be the person that's waiting for you to get out of the way. So I like to go on the times when there's less people as possible. Number 4 talks about mindsets. And it actually talks about 2 different types of mindsets in here, and I'll let you read those on your own, but it talks about deliberative mindsets and implemental mindsets. I need to read more into both of these because this article doesn't really give me a good idea of what I might be, but it's a very interesting thought. But I'll talk about the first part, which talks about your psychological states known as mindsets, which influence perceptions and decision making, can also make somebody more likely to spend. They occur outside of your conscious awareness. So this is where we talk about being very intentional with shopping. But it says, this is so intriguing to me, that thinking positively in one situation can predispose a person to think positively in another situation. So the example it gives is, generating supportive thoughts about giving to a charity might prime a person to have positive thoughts about the bottle of detergent they see in an ad break a few minutes later. That makes them more likely to buy it. So doing something nice and having positive thoughts will make you more susceptible to a marketing tactic? That blows my mind a bit. I really want to look more into this because that's very intriguing. But definitely check out the article so you can read more about deliberative mindsets and implemental mindsets, because it goes into how, like, they're different type of, I guess, shoppers, and help you understand what happens with the person who has those different types of mindsets. Number 5 is making comparisons. Now stop. Wait a minute. It's not what you think. It's not about making comparisons to the Joneses or the Kardashians. Listen to this. It talks about shopping is a 3-step process. I guess your mind goes through this process. First, you ask yourself, do I want to buy something? Then you ask yourself, which product is best? And then finally, how will I buy the product? But when people start considering 2 possible purchases, it induces a which to buy mindset, which primes them to skip the first question and makes them more likely to buy something. So somehow, I guess, I can't think of a good example. I guess if you're out at a store and you're looking at 2 somethings, you don't even think, do I want to buy something? You automatically think, well, which one's the best one for me to get? Number 6 is the halo effect. This is also very interesting. It's talking about how we use mental shortcuts to help us navigate through the day. But sometimes these shortcuts can lead to incorrect assumptions and costly mistakes. So it says so taking it into the context of shopping, not all assumptions are bad. Indeed, some assumptions are central to marketing. So for example, branding works, we assume that products under the one brand have a similar level of quality. So let's go with Yeti. I love a Yeti cup. I was just trying to see if I have my Yeti cup in here, but I don't. If you have a Yeti cup, then you're going to assume, because that cup is great quality, that other Yeti products are also great quality. That's the halo effect. It says, but other assumptions are less reliable. The halo effect occurs when we make incorrect assumptions which lead us to think positively about something. So the eye-catching deals we'd see at the front window often make us assume that the other deals in the store are equally valid or generous. How has it happened to you where you've bought a product based on the name brand that it was, and then it wasn't the same quality? I think that probably happens a lot, but you assume it's going to be good because it's the same brand or the same owner. It says to counteract the halo effect, you need to become prepared. Knowing the recommended retail price of products will ensure that you are not influenced by higher anchor prices that give the impression of deep discounts. Have you ever heard about people saying that all of the holiday sales and stuff, what they actually do is they increase the price and then they decrease it. So they increase the price and then they decrease it by 40%, but it's actually not that big of a discount. I think I've seen that a lot, but I also see that a lot of stores nowadays have discounts all the time. There's not a time when you can go in usually and have to pay full price. Or if there is, it's not a discount. If you wait until the next weekend, it doesn't even have to be a holiday, you'll still get a discount. But you still need to understand the typical retail price. Now, I also say this regards to groceries. Groceries are something that when you're going to different stores, there can be a lot of different, so the same product can be priced completely differently. So having maybe a price book if you're that type of a detailed person, but just knowing what's out there. So being a responsible consumer, somebody who knows the general price of goods. Now, we don't really know a lot of the prices of goods these days because they're kind of inflating out of control, but we will eventually maybe get back on track. The article ends with saying, on the halo effect, remaining skeptical and calm will improve your decision making and reduce the risk of cognitive bias that will likely be good for society, the environment, and your pocket. So somehow taking into account all of these psychological steps or behaviors, I guess is what it was called. What did they call it? The 6 factors. So I guess taking into effect the 6 factors that cause you to overspend, the 6 psychological factors. I mean, some of these are so interesting. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in them just on a personal level to understand. But once you understand something, you can counteract it, you can balance it, you can make a better decision, which in overall is going to help you in all aspects of your life. So if you enjoyed this article, let me know down below in the comments, and also give this video a like. I enjoyed it. I definitely got some new information, which is kind of the point that I want to continue to do, is give and get more information, or new information, not just more information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.